Prasoon Tiwari started his career 15 years ago with a major tech company. Having worked across different roles throughout his career, Prasoon fell victim to mass layoffs last year. You see, Prasoon is just one of the lakhs of employees who have been impacted by layoffs in the past 1 or 2 years, especially in the IT sector. Managing expenses after losing a job is the biggest challenge during this period of rising inflation. However, with proper planning, you can manage your finances effectively until you find a new job. How? Let's understand. Employees of many tech companies and startups were hit the hardest by layoffs. According to data from the layoff tracking website layoffs.fyi, in 2023, 1,192 tech companies laid off 263,180 employees. So far in 2024, 273 companies have shown the door to 78,752 employees. This includes 54 companies that have laid off 21,653 employees in April alone. Speaking of India, Ola recently announced laying off 10% of its workforce. Prior to this, several major companies, including edtech firm Byju's, had laid off its employees. According to a PTI report, there has been a reduction in the jobs even at the country's largest IT companies. The headcount at top IT companies like TCS, Infosys and Wipro decreased by 64,000 during the last fiscal year, that is FY 2023-24. Wipro saw a decrease of 24,516 employees, Infosys of about 25,994 employees, and TCS's headcount dipped by 13,249 employees. This means that these IT companies are hiring new people in much fewer numbers as compared to those who are leaving, retiring, or are being laid off. Last year, many of us witnessed our office colleagues, friends, and even family members face job losses or salary cuts. Whether or not such a situation arises, we must be prepared to deal with it. Some preparation needs to be done during the job tenure, and the same strategy works after losing a job. Let's understand this. It is crucial to build an emergency fund right from the start of your job. This fund comes in handy during difficult times or for funding unexpected expenses like a medical emergency or a job loss situation. The emergency fund should have at least 6 to 9 months worth of your essential expenses. Suppose your essential monthly expenses are 55,000 rupees. Then your emergency fund should have at least 3,30,000 rupees, that is 55,000 multiplied by 6. Essential expenses include rent, EMIs, groceries, utility bills, childcare, school fees, transportation, insurance, and others. You can park your emergency fund in a savings account, fixed deposit, liquid fund, or even in a debt mutual fund. Avoid keeping the emergency fund in risky options like stocks or equity mutual funds. Losing a job is not a normal situation and it requires making some tough decisions. Cutting your expenses is one of them. Let's understand how to plan a reduction in expenses when you don't have a job. First, make a list of all your expenses. Keep essential expenses like rent, electricity bill, and ration at the top of this list, and non-essential expenses at the bottom. Start cutting expenses from the bottom of this list. Reduce these expenses as much as possible. Non-essential expenses like dining out, weekend travel, online shopping, and OTT subscriptions can be easily cut down. Adjusting the budget by reducing non-essential expenses will make it easier for you to manage your essential expenses. Don't immediately stop paying your credit card bills and loan EMIs after losing your job. Pay your credit card bills by due date, since missing payments will result in penalties and interest, which can further worsen your already financially tight situation. Credit cards charge up to 48% annual interest. It's better to clear the outstanding credit balance and avoid swapping credit cards until you find a new job. Keep paying your loan EMIs from your emergency fund for 3 to 6 months. If you're still struggling to find a job, consider options like a moratorium, which is temporarily stopping your EMIs, or increasing your loan tenure. This will either stop or reduce your EMI burden for some time, but it will definitely increase your interest burden. To reduce this interest burden, make prepayments as soon as you find a new job. There is confusion about whether to continue investments or not after losing a job. If you think it won't take you more than 1 or 2 months to find a new job and you have sufficient funds, then you can continue with your investments. Otherwise, it is better to stop investments, including SIPs, for some time. There's no point in paying SIPs from your emergency fund when your monthly income flow has temporarily stopped. You can restart the SIPs once you find a new job. Despite being jobless, make sure to pay the premium for your health insurance policy. This will make sure that you don't have to bear the treatment expenses from your pocket if you are hospitalized, which would further burden your emergency fund and impact other essential expenses. Those with an emergency fund can manage things better in a job loss situation compared to those without an emergency fund. People without an emergency fund should review their investment portfolio immediately. You may have a traditional insurance policy like money back or endowment, bank FDs or underperforming mutual funds that you can use as an emergency fund. Additionally, you can seek help from friends or relatives or even work as a freelancer. Withdraw from retirement investments like EPF or PPF or take out a loan only when you have exhausted all the other options.
Now, you too can ask any question related to personal finance on the Money9 app. Do you have a query on stocks, mutual funds or tax? Now, you can directly ask our experts. Connect with them anywhere, anytime. Ask your questions in Hindi, English, Marathi, Bangla, Gujarati, Telugu and Kannada only on Money9.